Good morning, students. Today we will discuss types of flowers. We were discussing the chapter pollination, and in this chapter we have already completed the parts of flower. Now we will discuss about the types of flowers. Okay, depending on the presence of four holes, flowers are of two types: complete and incomplete. Okay, sorry. Like in last video we have seen that a flower is parts in the parts of the flower we have seen that flower is having four holes, but it is not necessary that all the flowers will have four holes. Some flowers are having four holes and some flowers are not having four holes. So if they are having four holes, then it is known as complete flower, and if they are not having four holes, then it will be known as incomplete flower. Like how it is, we will see complete flower. If a flower has all the four holes, like that is calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium, it is called a complete flower. Like example, China rose. Okay, China rose is the example of complete flower because it is having all the four holes: calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. Androecium is male reproductive part and gynoecium is female reproductive part. Okay, incomplete flower, if a flower has one or more holes absent, it is called as incomplete flowers. Flowers of sweet corn and squash plant are incomplete flowers. Depending on the presence of male and female reproductive parts, flower can be classified into unisexual and bisexual. Okay, first of all we will try to understand incomplete flower. If in any flower any one or more hole is absent, then it will be known as incomplete flower. And the example of incomplete flower is sweet corn, squash plant. Like these are the examples of incomplete flower. Now if the flower is incomplete, that means either they are having male reproductive part or they are having female reproductive part. Depending on the presence of male and female reproductive part, flowers can be divided into two categories: unisexual flowers or bisexual flowers. How it is, we will see. Unisexual or monosexual flowers. Uni means one, mono means one. Okay, so if you are saying unisexual, that means also one, either of the sexual part will be there. Or if you are saying monosexual, that also means that either of the sexual part will be there. Okay, so the flowers in which either male or female reproductive organs are present are called unisexual flowers. Okay, if any flower is having either male reproductive part or female reproductive part, then it will be known as unisexual flower. Okay, they are also termed as incomplete flower. Why they are incomplete flower? Because if they are having either male reproductive part or female reproductive part, that means they are any one of reproductive part is missing, and that means any one of whole is missing. That means that flower is not complete flower, that flower is incomplete flower. Flowers of papaya, corn and watermelon are examples of unisexual flower. Okay, now the flowers in which both male and female reproductive organs are present are called bisexual flowers. They are also termed as complete flowers. For example, lily, hibiscus, mustard, etc. If any flower is having both the reproductive organs, male reproductive organs and female reproductive organs, then those flowers are known as bisexual flowers. Bi means two. Okay, so all the two sexual reproductive parts are there, then it will be known as bisexual flowers. Okay, and they are also known as complete flowers because all the four holes will be there. For example, lily, hibiscus, mustard, etc. So in this again, if we try to understand this, then complete flower will be bisexual flower and incomplete flower will be unisexual flower. Okay, like this types of flowers are there. Okay, now on the basis of this types of flower, we will try to understand the process of pollination. Okay, what is the process of pollination? Pollination and its process. Have you ever seen insects such as butterflies, bees, and moths visiting flowers? What do? The insects visit flowers to collect their food from the flower. Also, at the same time, they help in pollination. Okay, the process of transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma is called pollination. Pollination is the process that enables reproduction in plants. कभी आपने किसी इंसेक्ट्स को या बटरफ्लाई को या बीज को या मॉथ्स को फ्लावर के ऊपर देखा है विजिट करते हुए? कि वो क्या करते हैं? जब इंसेक्ट्स फ्लावर के ऊपर विजिट करते हैं, वो क्या करने जाते हैं? वो वहाँ से नेक्टर, फ्लावर से उन्हें नेक्टर मिलता है जो कि उनका फूड होता है, वो वहाँ से कलेक्ट करते हैं और ठीक उसी टाइम पे वो पॉलिनेशन में हेल्प भी करते हैं. नाउ यू विल थिंक हाउ इट इज़ हैपनिंग, हाउ दे आर हेल्पिंग इन पॉलिनेशन. I will explain you. First of all, try to understand what is pollination. The process of transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma. Anther to stigma. Okay? Pollen grains are present in anther, and from anther, the pollen grains transfer to stigma, where the ovary is there, eggs are there, and these pollen grains will go and fuse with those eggs and the pollination process will complete. Okay, so the process of transfer of pollen grain from anther to stigma is known as pollination. Okay, so when an insect or butterfly or bees or moths visit a flower for collecting the nectar from the flower, at the same time the pollen grain from the anther stick into their bodies. Okay, and when they visit to the other flower, those are the flower which is having stigma, the pollen grain from their body fall into that stigma, and like this they are helping in the transfer of pollen grain from anther to stigma. That is why they are helping in the pollination. Okay, now there are many ways in which pollination is taking place. Okay, now we will discuss types of pollination. There are two types of pollination: self-pollination and cross-pollination. Self-pollination, transfer of pollen grains from anther of a flower to stigma of the same flower on the same plant is called self-pollination. Self-pollination is also called autogamy. This is an economical process as agents of pollination are not involved. Agents of pollination. One word has come into this topic. Agent means we will discuss this about this agent of pollination afterwards. And now you can understand that agent of pollination means the things or the living things or whatever the things which help in the transfer of pollen grain from anther to stigma. Those things are known as agents of pollination. Okay, so transfer of pollen grains from anther of a flower to stigma of the same flower. If the flower is complete flower, or you can say bisexual flower, then it will have in one flower they will have anther also, they will have stigma also. So automatically the transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma will take place by their own. So they are doing the pollination by themselves. That is why this process is known as self-pollination or autogamy. This is an economical process because as agent of pollination are not involved. No agent of pollination is involved in this process because they themselves transferring the pollen grain from anther to stigma. The requirement of agent is not here. Okay, so the pollination is done by themselves only. That is why this process is known as self-pollination. Okay, Now we will discuss about the cross pollination. Transfer of pollen grains from anther of one flower to the stigma of a flower of one on another plant of the same species is called cross pollination. Cross pollination is also called allogamy. Okay, external agents such as wind, water, insects are needed for cross pollination. If flower is unisexual, okay, if flower is unisexual, that means one flower will have androecium and another flower will have gynoecium. So one flower will have pollen grain and another flower will have ovary. Okay, so for the fusion, for the reproduction, it is very necessary that anther will go and fuse with the fuse in the ovary, the eggs in the ovary. So for this process, the transfer of pollen grains will take place from one flower of same species, from the anther of one flower of same species to the stigma of another flower of same species. And this process is known as cross pollination because it is not done by themselves. Any agent, external agent will be needed in this process. Okay, so this process is known as cross pollination or allogamy. Okay, so which are the agents which are helping in the cross pollination, that we will discuss. Agents of pollination. There are several ways for pollination to occur naturally. The conditions or organisms involved in the pollination are known as agents of pollination. Okay, many agents are there which help them in the pollination process, and many conditions are also there which help them in the cross pollination. What are those agents? Pollination by insects. Insects are very important agent of pollination. When an insect visits a flower, the pollen grains get stuck to the body of the insect. When this insect visits another flower, the pollen grains get transferred to the stigma of this flower, thus bringing about pollination. Okay. Insect pollination flowers show the following characteristic. First of all, we will try to understand how they are helping. When जब भी कोई इंसेक्ट किसी एक फ्लावर पे बैठता है और उसके बैठने के बाद जो है वो नेक्टर लेने के लिए बैठता है, फिर उसके बाद उसकी बॉडी में पॉलन ग्रेन चिपक जाता है, और ये पॉलन ग्रेन जो है इंसेक्ट जब दूसरे फ्लावर पे विजिट करता है तो ये पॉलन ग्रेन जो है स्टिग्मा में ट्रांसफ़र हो जाता है. ठीक है, और फिर इस तरीके से पॉलिनेशन के प्रोसेस को शुरू किया जाता है, पॉलिनेशन का प्रोसेस होता है. ठीक है, अब जो भी प्लांट्स जिनका पॉलिनेशन जो है इंसेक्ट्स के थ्रू होता है, उनकी कुछ स्पेशल क्वालिटीज़ होती है, कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स होते हैं. वो क्या क्या हैं? फ्लावर्स आर ब्राइटली कलर्ड टू अट्रैक्ट इंसेक्ट्स. फ्लावर्स ऑफ दीज प्लांट्स विल बी brightly colored so that they can attract the insects. Okay, if they will not be able to attract the insects, they will not come to close to the flower, and the pollination process will not take place. Okay, flowers produce scent that attracts insects. Insects are very fond of scents, fragrances. So flowers produce scents so that they can attract the insects. So if a flower is an insect pollinated flower, so that flower will be brightly colored and that flower will have very attractive scent. They will produce very attractive scent. Okay, some flowers produce nectar. Insects visit flowers to collect nectar. Okay, some flowers are there which produce nectar, so that insect can come to collect those nectars as a food, and they will help in the pollination of the flower. Okay, pollen grains are sticky, produced in less numbers. Okay, pollen grains are sticky in nature, so that they can easily stick on the body of the insects. Okay, and they are very less in numbers. Examples of flower insects Insect pollinated flowers are Dahlia, rose, sunflower. Okay. Now, second agent is pollination by wind. Pollen grains in some cases are carried by winds. Flowers in such cases show following characters. Some pollen grains are carried by winds. Okay. So in some flowers, the pollination process are taking place with the help of winds only. The agent of the pollination is wind there. And what are the characteristics of those flowers? Pollen grains are light and dry and are produced in large numbers. In those flowers, pollen grains should be very light. So they are very light and dry, so that a mild wind can also make them fly from one place to another place. Okay. Stigma is large and feathery to catch the wind carried pollen grains. Stigma of these flowers are large and feathery, so that they can catch the wind carried pollen grains. Wind will not reach the pollen grain to the another flower's stigma. It is stigma's work to catch those pollen grains from the wind. So they have to be very large and they have to be very feathery to catch the wind carried pollen grains. स्टिग्मा को की रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बन जाती है यहाँ पे, क्योंकि हवा में अगर पॉलन ग्रेन्स उड़ रहे हैं इन सारे फ्लावर्स के, तो स्टिग्मा को बड़ा होना पड़ेगा और उसको बहुत फेदरी होना पड़ेगा ताकि वो विंड में उड़ने वाले पॉलन ग्रेन्स को कैच कर सके. ओके, व्हाट आर द एग्जांपल्स ऑफ दीज फ्लावर्स? wheat, maize, palm and grasses. These are the examples in which the pollination is done by wind. Okay, pollination by water. This takes place in water plant like hydrilla and Vallisneria. Okay, before fertilization, the transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma of a flower is necessary. Thus, pollination is one of the important steps for reproduction before fertilization. Okay, pollination by water means in this pollination by water means this process will be done in the water only. So the aquatic plant will have these qualities. Okay, these will come under this category where the pollination process is done by water only. Okay, pollination, after pollination fertilization process took place, and after fertilization reproduction take place. That is why pollination is one of the most important step for reproduction. Okay, so if you will see, then first of all pollination will take place, then fertilization will take place, then reproduction will take place. Without pollination, fertilization will not be possible, and without fertilization, reproduction will not be possible. So for reproduction, fertilization is important, and for fertilization, that pollination is important. Okay, now the last thing, differences between insect pollinated and wind pollinated flowers. Okay, what are the difference between insect pollinated and wind pollinated? Insect pollinated, large and brightly colored, as you have seen, they have to attract the insects. That's why flowers are large and brightly colored. Wind pollinated flowers are small and inconspicuous. That means कि if they have to fly in the wind, then they have to be small and lightweighted. Okay, nectar in insect pollinated flowers, nectar and scent is produced. Okay, but in wind pollinated flowers, no nectar or scent is produced because they have to attract the insects. That's why they are producing nectar and scent. But in wind pollinated flowers, no need to produce nectar or scent because they need not to attract the insects. Okay, pollen grains are sticky because they have to stuck in the body of insects. That's why they are sticky in nature. But here pollen grains are dry because they have to fly in the wind. Pollen grains are produced in less quantity. Here pollen grains are produced in less quantity, but in wind pollinated flowers, pollen grains are produced in large quantity. These are the difference between insect pollinated flowers and wind pollinated flowers. Like this, we have completed this chapter. Tomorrow I will send you some work related to this chapter. I hope you have understood the topic. Thank you for watching this video.